Hi guys, Matt Bream and Eric Scopel here from Franklin High School up in Portland. Oregon had their first, spring scrimmage,
right,
if you count the second one. That will be on April 21st. But here up in Portland today, first real live contact that the football team has had with practice, and we got to watch about 50, 60 plays. A lot of takeaways from the scrimmage, but the first and probably the most obvious one with this football team is Justin Herbert's pretty good.
He's very, very good. He had some incredible throws today. I think most notably to Brendan Schooler. I think they connected 3 times for touchdowns. One of them was waved off because it was just determined he was sacked, I think. But he looked the real deal. And I think a second takeaway is that the drop-off from him to the other quarterbacks, as we would expect, because they're both either a true freshman or redshirt freshmen, was pretty significant. Both Braxton Burmeister and Tyler Shough struggled today. Shough settled down a little bit, I think, towards the end of the scrimmage and had a couple nice plays, but for the most part, neither of them were particularly sharp. But Justin Herbert today was almost pitching like a perfect game. I can think of very few.
No turnovers, no fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he very rarely threw poor passes to his receiving targets.
Yeah.
Overall, he was pretty impressive, like we would expect Herbert to do, and going into his third year and now as the starting quarterback for the Ducks. And Braxton Burmeister was the first quarterback.
Right.
I guess you could say the second string quarterback.
The first team, second quarterback.
But they rotated. I mean,
yeah.
Shough and Burmeister rotated throughout with the second unit, but it was Burmeister to get the first chance with the second group, and his first throw resulted in an interception by Brady Breeze, who returned it for about 25, 30 yards. And then we didn't see Burmeister really for about 3 or 4 series with the defense, with the second team offense. Shough got a lot of those opportunities, and while I don't think he necessarily made a lot of standout-ish plays, he just didn't turn the ball over.
He didn't turn the ball over. At least he protected the ball. And I think a couple other guys that stand out at skill position. Obviously, Brendan Schooler had a great day, 3 touchdowns we mentioned, but I thought Jalen Redd had a really nice day in the slot for them.
Guy I was impressed a lot with was Travis Dye.
Yeah, Travis Dye played
freshman
really well.
running back.
Yeah, and he was playing a little bit of the first and second team, so that kind of gives you an indication of where he was. Tony Brooks-James, as we would expect, was the starting running back. The receivers were about what you would think. Brendan Schooler, Johnny Johnson, and Dylan Mitchell out there. Jacob Breland is hurt right now, so he wasn't with the first team offense.
Jake Hansen as well. With
Jake
the
Hansen wasn't
center
there, so they moved a couple things around. But for the most part, I think you saw what the first team offense will look like this fall. And again, they were going against both the first team and second team defense, kind of switching. But I think a pretty impressive day for the first team offense.
Defensively, Keith Sims was a guy that I was pretty impressed with. With the second team defense, he's playing at the inside linebacker spot behind Troy Dye, and that's going to be a guy Oregon's going to need to be ready to give good production, because there's not a lot of depth behind the starting linebackers. And Sims is a guy who was a highly rated prospect, a 4-star coming out of, I think, the Baltimore area.
Right.
But he just hasn't really done anything in his first 2 years. He redshirted, and then he was hurt all of last season. So he's coming in, and maybe Oregon can get lucky and he can give some productive snaps for him off the bench.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Isaac Slade, I'm going to butcher his last name, Maudiauda, I don't know how you pronounce it. Isaac Slade, ISM. He was the starting inside linebacker, it looked like, today.
Opposite
Troy Dye. And actually, Gary Baker was a guy I wanted to mention just because we've talked a lot about the big 3 on the defensive line with Scott, Falu, and Jelks, and Gary Baker actually, I believe, got the first rep with the first team over Falu. So I'm not saying that there's a huge position battle, but that's significant. And he actually had a couple nice plays where he was in the backfield fairly regularly. So we've communicated concerns about depth on the defensive line. I think we saw a couple guys that were positive. DJ Johnson also with the second group. We're not sure if he'll play this year, but he had a couple plays where you're kind of like, wow, this guy can do some stuff.
And offensively, one of the big surprises is a guy that's changed positions entirely from defense now, working with the offense. Hunter Kampmoyer was a defensive end the last 2 seasons. He's now playing tight end for the Ducks because of depth and I guess you could say size and physicality that they're lacking at that position group. He had probably the hit of the day.
Oh, absolutely. And
it was because he was running over defenders, not defenders hitting him.
Well, you see a guy who's clearly not afraid of contact, former defensive player, and he just absolutely plowed through. I'm not sure who it was. It was either a safety or a linebacker, but
the hits were hard.
He didn't stand a chance, and he ran over a couple of guys. It'd be interesting to see where he fits in. Obviously, Breland right now isn't playing, we mentioned, and they've got Bay and McCormick starting or with that first team, but I think Kampmoyer's a guy who, if things break a certain way, he could play some serious minutes this year, and I think you're pretty impressed, at least on that one play. You know, it's hard to kind of pinpoint
Right.
how the rest of it went, but that one play, you're kind of like, this guy can do some things, and the crowd kind of responded the same way.
Johnny Johnson had a couple pretty nifty catches. One of them was a short one that they ripped off for about 50 yards when they were working on some back against the wall situations. The ball was around the 1 or the 2, and Johnson caught a quick pass, and I went to think about, 50 yards upfield. And then he had another one where he showed some good bursts on a downfield catch as well, which was pretty accustomed to him as a freshman last year. So that was good to see as well for Oregon. But a lot of the other freshmen, David Davis, Dimitri Birch, we didn't really see a lot from those guys.
And we should highlight one freshman receiver we didn't see was Jalen Hall, who
Yes.
is not with the team, and Cristobal said he would provide an update when he has one. So,
And he was upfront about it
He was.
to us. We didn't even have to ask Jalen Hall when Cristobal first announced that he wasn't here.
Yeah.
He gave that to us without us even
So
looking for
the
it.
context is that Jalen Hall was the second highest rated recruit in the 2018 recruiting class. He showed up for the second portion of spring camp this past week, practiced with the team on Tuesday, but on Thursday was noticeably absent, not with the team again today. So we'll keep you updated on that one. That's certainly something to keep an eye on. We're not sure if it's something where he'll return next week or the week after, or if his future Oregon could be in jeopardy for all we know at this point.
That's going to do it for us for Duck Territory. Go to Duck Territory for more scoop on practice. We'll have videos. We've got 6 interviews coming up. That's on the site pretty soon. We'll have our first take analysis as well as some stories. For Eric Scopel and myself, Matt Preem, we'll talk to you guys sometime soon. Ducks are back in Eugene on Tuesday for spring ball, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks, guys.